And when you went to the larger cities, you say you photographed prostitutes there as well. Was that scary compared to the smaller town?
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine.
Mm-hmm.
But the dynamic was similar and the women were similar?
Well, no, it was very different. It was, you know, there's a lot of street prostitution. There are a lot of transvestites, and then there are women that travel from town to town that hang out on the street.
Yeah.
And they all get it. They get in fights and they get in trouble, and so that when that happens, and they burn their position out in the town, they'll move to another town.
Yeah.
You know, and the brothels are a lot of them run by men. I went to one several times where it's run by a man and a woman, and it was that was a really shocking place, because it was the woman, the husband and wife team, they were like glamorous, beautiful, rich, jeweled people, you know, and here were all these women that were like, it was really upsetting to me to see this whole situation. And this particular place was a very dangerous place, and every client that went in was frisked.
Oh, wow.
And it was a creepy place.
Sounds like it.
It was a really bad energy place. There was you know.
Yeah.
But some of them, the ones that are run by madams, are more human to me. The madams and the prostitutes. You know, there's a better relationship between them, the prostitutes, than with a pimp.
Sure.
You know, because a pimp's a cold-hearted.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what interests me about the photographs is how this, the darkness, the characteristic darkness of your lighting seems to imply so much without really saying very much specific. It's almost as if there's this kind of threshold where the light in some ways symbolizes the experience, or allows the experience of people to come through at a subjective level. How do you, are you simply attracted to low light levels?
I see better in low light.
Yeah.
I'm very intimidated by bright light all the time. So it's the way I don't see in bright light, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I understand the darkness and the shades and the tones and then the mood.
Sure.
And it seems, you know, like at a sugar mill, I'm much more interested in the mood of people working at night.
Right.
You know, they're tired, it's humid, it's stinky, or sometimes it smells good. And it's at nighttime, the wind out the sugar mills is blowing more, and so the steam's flowing everywhere. And so it's not anything like a brothel, of course, but moody-wise,
yeah.
You know, the brothels are very dark.
Right.
And sometimes the rooms are only lit by a pink fluorescent light. That, you know, that's a very strange tone that you know, or a light bulb. And even some rooms didn't have lights. And so I'd have to bring in a light, just a single light bulb on a card, you know, those orange cords. Yeah. And so I like that atmosphere. I'm always ending up in that kind of atmosphere.
It seems like it.
Yeah.
It's carried across all through the years and all these different places.
I just see better in the dark.
Yeah.
You know, I'm kind of the opposite of most people. But maybe it's because I've spent so much time working. I don't know.
Well, I think that you have really worked out a technique in your approach that seems to really convey so much, even though so much is veiled or obscured because of the dark lighting. And it's sort of mythopoetic in my way of looking at things, because there's a sense of a deeper story. These are individual personal stories, and yet they have an ancient feel to them. It just strikes me that way. It's something like out of mythology that I see in all your photographs. So it must have some connection to these human experiences that all have to do with the ambiguity of life situations. Is ambiguity a part of your modus and the way you work, or is that even how you look at it?
I don't even think about that.
Yeah, photography.
I never think about that. Yeah. But what I do think about, and what sometimes I see in my work, is that, you know, I learned as a kid, and I don't think most kids think about this, but I think it's because of the people I was raised by, that you never know what's inside someone and what their story is, and how things, you know, people can have the greatest facade of whether it's happiness or whatever, or, you know, and they have this crushing life or this beautiful life, or, you know, and this, so I think I heard that so much as a kid, you know, that that when, you know, it's in me, all this is in me, and then it just comes out is where I end up.
Sure.
You know, I mean, I'm like, because of my childhood, just full of all these ingredients that come out and put me in the dark.
Yeah.
It's where I feel comfortable.
Yeah, I noticed that in your series on the lady who was Polly, was that it? Yeah, and even though she was an elderly lady and had nothing to do with prostitution, there was that same twilight quality that allowed so much to come up that was symbolic and maybe related to the subconscious.
Polly didn't like the bright light either.
Yeah.
And I think that was something we really had in common and understood between each other. But you know, I don't know if you've seen some of my Katrina work that I did. I was forced to take pictures in the bright sunlight.
Oh yeah, just a few I saw.
Yeah, and they're very straight documents and kind of not like what I usually photograph.
They still have that poetic quality though.
Thank you. That's good to know.
Is this good?
It's awesome.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I think it's fabulous.
All
How do I look?
Huh?
I have to know how I look.
You look fine.
You're great.
You look like yourself.
Oh, but thank goodness.